Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, Olde Scot the Celtic podcast. On today's show, we'll introduce you to some more of the dative case of nouns, and we're going to do 20 words for autumn in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. We will tell you of Dalraida, the Kingdom of Scots, in today's Celtic history segment. And I'll tell you all about the A.C.G.A, or Feuchamaich Gaidhlig Americanach, which is an organization dedicated to the preservation and promotion of the Scottish Gaelic language, one of the Celtic languages here in the United States. And we'll do that in everyday Celtic ways. Today we'll hear music from Danny Carnahan and Robin Petrie, Capra Cayley, and we'll hear two songs from Dougie MacLean. And as always, it's a wee bit of trivia, Irish trivia, to test off your knowledge to start us off. What kind of rock is the Blarney Stone, the famous Blarney Stone, made of? All right. Now remember to check out learngaelic.net. It's a great resource for your Gaelic learning. Take advantage of it. I know I do. And anyone within the St. Louis area that would like to be a part of a weekly Scottish Gaelic class, be sure to comment and I will send you all the details and we'll make this thing happen. Feuchamaich, let's kick this thing off. That was Breton Dances by Danny Carnahan and Robin Petrie. Now, it's Ha and Tom and Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. It's time for Let's Try a Little Gaelic. Today we will discuss the dative case of nouns and 20 helpful vocabulary words for autumn. And as always, I will display on the screen what I am discussing. So, Tasiki Shin, let's begin. The dative case of nouns, continued. Nouns beginning with the SL, SN, SR, or the S vowel, add the T dash to the nominative definitive article. Combined forms of the definite article with the simple preposition fo, j, do, fo, mu, ro, and tro are maintained. Nominative, definite, singular, and shol, the sail, and shomer, the room, and schnock, the snow, and sol, the world. Dative, definite, singular. Air and shol, on the sail. Ans and shomer, in the room. Lesh and schnock, with the snow. Moon, sol, about the world. Nouns beginning with B, F, M, P, C, G, all the night in the dative. Combined forms of the definite article with the simple prepositions fo, j, do, fo, mu, ro, and tro are maintained, but with all other simple prepositions, the definite changes to a apostrophe, except for nouns beginning with F. It's a lot of rules, I know, but it'll come to you in time. Nominative, definitive, singular. I'm bored, the table. I'm fesker, the evening. I'm paper, the paper. And ku, the dog. And gili, the boy. Dative, singular. Dative, definite, singular, Vord, on the table. Phone Vord, under the table. Ansen Hesker, in the evening. Jen Hesker, of the evening. Era Vonu, on the moor. Ansa Paper, in the paper. Era Hu, on the dog. Moon Hu, about the dog. Rishan Hila, to the boy. Ron Hila, before the boy. All right. And for now, that's the end of dative nouns. Now we're going to transition into these vocabulary words. And the first one is uavasak, which means terribly or awfully. And that can be good or bad. Terribly good, uavasak ma, or terribly bad, uavasak dona. Stormial or stormy. And it does get stormy in the autumn. Hesker, evening. Ushka, water. Through, stream. Chain, fire. Ghoul, coal. Lua, fast. Shoal, sail. Sea, peace. Soul, world. Aaron, bread. Boxa, box. Sentences for you to translate into Gaelic. 7. Va Iwavasak Stormiel Ansen Hesker. 8. Chaniel Ushka Anansen Sru. Ha Chene Ma Che and Von Gul Show. 10. Anroy Lua Leshk and Show. 11. Vasi an Tron Sol. 12. Nakil Aaron Ur Ansavaksa an Ha. And that's it. Now we're going to move on to the 20 words for autumn. You know, the weather turns colder and wetter and the darkness closes in on us earlier in the day, but the autumn also brings delights. So, autumn, for. The autumn, for. in the autumn. As Tor. Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Autumn is a remarkable season for trees. Now, I don't know if you'll always use all these definitions for trees, but they're here. Tree, cruav. Deciduous tree, cruav shirgach. Horse or chestnut conifer, gen kyo. Oak tree, cruav yerrick. Pine tree, cruav uis. Wow. The leaves change colors. Leaf is dulik. Gold colored or auburn is orvunia. Red, rust colored ginger, rua. And one of the autumnal months on Dover, October, is named after an animal. The stag, Dav. Deer is Fieg, but stag, the male, is Dav. And some other creatures here who are preparing for winter. Hedgehog, graniak, squirrel, furik. And hibernation means Chadal Gaidhlig. Okay. It's a busy time for farmers as well. And the harvest, which is Buin. Scarecrow is Bodach Rokish. And of course, we just had Oiche Samhain, which is Halloween. And hopefully you were doing it, drinking some spirits around the Cruachania, the bonfire. All right, that's our 20 words for autumn. Enjoy. Alright, that was Ernai Avon Hicknock by Capercaillie on their Crosswinds CD. Alright, we're going to do a new little spotlight thing, Celtic music spotlight, just a real quick thing. Capercaillie is a folk band founded in Oban, Scotland in the 1980s by Donald Shaw and fronted by Karen Matheson. They recorded their first album, Cascade, in 1984, and their 1992 album, Coshic, a Rune, was the first ever Scottish Gaelic language record to reach the UK Top 40 single chart. They have also pioneered the integration of divergent styles, including some electronics and African rhythms, into their music. Though it is primarily a Scottish folk music, I highly encourage you to get one or all of their many albums they have made over the years. My personal favorite is, though, the Crosswinds album. I've played a few songs off of it. Alright, now we're going to delve into our rich history. There's our Celtic past and our segment, the Celtic History Break. Alright, today's topic is Dalraida, Kingdom of the Scots. Now, when the Romans left Scotland in the 4th century, they left behind the unconquered Iron Age tribes of northern Scotland, who had been given names such as the Picti, the Caledonii, and the Epidi. By the 6th century, the tribes had united as the Kingdom of the Picts, established in the mountains and the highlands. The first settlers from the Irish tribe of Dalraida in County Antrim arrived in Argyll around 400 AD. They would hardly be noticed by the Picts. There had always been contact with Ireland, though. After all, the Mall of Kintyre is only 12 miles from the Emerald Isle. There is even some evidence that the Scoti, as they became known, drifted in over a number of centuries and may have fought alongside the Picts against the Romans as far back as the 3rd and 4th century. Around 497, however, Fergus More, son of Eric, of Irish royal blood, arrived with his sons. Gradually, there were sufficient numbers of them to create a kingdom which was separate from that in Ireland. The indigenous Pictish tribe of the Epidi in Argyll disappeared, though, without a trace of it at this stage. No one knows if they were wiped out in battle or if they were just assimilated by those emigrating from Ireland. The Scots spread over the islands of Islay, Jura, and Arran off Argyll, and beyond Dunolly, at present-day Oban. In the north, their center of power became the rocky hill fort of Dunnet at the southern end of Kintyre, in the center of their territory. The Scots spoke Irish Gaelic, which differed from the Celtic language of the Picts. Their kings, who could be anyone descended from an earlier king, down to great-grandsons, were enthroned at Dunnet. In time, they would be coronated using the Stone of Destiny. Christianity, though, also spread to this part of the country from Ireland. St. Columba became established in Iona in the second half of the 6th century, though he was by no means the first. In the 6th century, conflicts broke out between the Picts and the Scots. The historian Bede tells of a battle between the Pictish king Bride and the Scots king Gabran. We know of King Bride because he was the first Pictish king to be converted to Christianity by, of course, St. Columba. Of course, it is thought that it may have been King Conall, the next ruler of Dalraida, who encouraged St. Columba to try to convert the Picts and undermine their culture. King Aidan of Dalraida attempted to extend the boundaries of his realm to the east across central Scotland, but the Northumbrian king Alethfrith defeated him at the Battle of Degsastan around 603. Now, in the 8th century, between 731 and 736, the Pictish king Angus I, from whom Angus, not the area Angus, gets its name, drove into Dalraida, dividing the territory into two. The stronghold of Dunnet was captured, and by 741, Dalraida was under the control of King Angus. But the Picts overstretched themselves when Talorgan, Angus's brother, attacked the kingdom of Strathclyde in 750 and was defeated. Angus himself tried again in 756 but was also defeated. This seriously weakened the Picts. Of course, during this time, there was intermarriage between Picts and Scots. Angus certainly had Scots predecessors. His name is Gaelic, after all. In 768, the Pictish king Kenneth was defeated by Eadh, Find of Dalraida at Feuchamaich, which was near Perth, showing that the Scots were driving east again. But at the turn of the century, King Constantine, who was descended from a Pictish princess and a king of Dalraida, held sway over both areas. King Constantine ruled for a lengthy period and established a church at Dunkeld. At this time, the Vikings, the mean Vikings from Scandinavia, were making their presence felt all too well, particularly in the west. The land of Dalraida, in 839, a combined force of Picts and Scots were defeated by the Vikings in a battle in Feuchamaich, and many of the royal household was killed. In the power vacuum which was created, Alpine stepped in and established himself as a ruler. His predecessors are obscure, and it may be that he gained power by working connections with the Norse invaders for a time. Now Alpine, he died in 841, and he was succeeded by his son, who was Kenneth MacAlpine. And by 849, the last Pictish lord was dead, many reputedly murdered by Kenneth, and the Pictish language and culture had also died out too. Alba had become established, finally, and despite pressure from Vikings in the west and Angles and Northumbria in the south, it expanded, taking in Strathclyde and Lothian over the next century. Kenneth MacAlpine, he is considered to be the first king of Scotland, the Scots Pictish king, that is. And I get into him, but that is a lot of information, which we'll do in an upcoming episode of Celtic History Break. I hope you enjoyed it.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet for days of old lang syne. We twa here run about the braes and put the gowans fine, but we've wandered many a weary fet since days of old lang syne, and we twa he pedalled in the barn frae morning sun till dine. But seas between us braid he rode since days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup oh kindness yet for days of auld lang syne. And surely you'll be your pine stoop, and surely I'll be mine, and we'll take a cup, oh kindness yet for auld lang syne. And there's a hand, my trusty fear, and gaze a hand o' thine, and we'll take a recht get welly walked for auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. We'll take a cup, oh kindness yet for auld lang syne, for auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. We'll take a cup, oh kindness yet for auld lang syne.
Alright, that was Farewell to Whiskey by Dougie MacLean from his tribute CD. Now it's time for Everyday Celtic Ways, a look into how our Celtic heritage is still very much a part of our everyday lives. Now, on Everyday Celtic Ways, we will talk about modern organizations and associations that help you connect to your Celtic roots. Today we will tell you about An Cumann Gaelach Americanach, the A.C.G.A. Now, the Scottish language is the language of the Scottish Highlands and Islands, and one of the 6 surviving Celtic languages. Once spoken throughout Scotland, it is tenaciously hanging on and even experiencing something of a resurgence. Quite different from the Germanic and Romance languages, Scottish Gaelic is at the core of the culture and the history of Scotland. Various forms of Gaelic have existed in the British Isles throughout recorded history, and Gaelic is the source of numerous Scottish place names. It is closely related to Irish and Manx, the Gaelga and the Gaelg, and more distantly to Welsh, Cornish, and Breton, which make up the Brittonic insular Celtic languages. The use of the Scottish Gaelic has declined seriously over the past 2 centuries, as severe economic and political dislocations in Scotland have dispersed Gaelic speakers throughout the world. Gaelic-speaking communities are not just found in the Highlands or in the Hebrides, but cities such as Glasgow and Edinburgh, and in scattered immigrant communities in Canada, especially Cape Breton and Nova Scotia. Now, fortunately, interest in Gaelic and the Gaelic culture are growing, both in Scotland and abroad. What we call Gaelic learning communities are springing up all across North America. driven in interest by the music and the heritage and the culture. And Cumin Gaelic Americanox strives to promote and preserve the Gaelic language and culture by supporting Scottish Gaelic language study and interest in Gaelic literature, song, music, art, and history in North America and the world. Now, you can find out more about A.C.G.A. on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and on their website, which is www.acgamerica.org. Now, the A.C.G.A., they offer 3 annual events which you can go to and get closer acquainted with this association and have a lot of fun at the same time. The first one being the Grandfather Mountain Gaelic Song and Language Week, which takes place each July in North Carolina just before the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games. Then you have the U.S. National Mod, which takes place in September during the Ligonier Highland Games in Pennsylvania. You have the A.C.G.A. Feis, which takes place the day before that mod. You'll find some basic info about those events below as well. Also, the A.C.G.A. at one time held annual immersion weekends. While that event has not been held for several years, we've made information on the past weekends available. They have on their website. Now, given demand, A.C.G.A. may hold these immersion events again in the future. They are a great way to learn as you get opportunities to speak with the native Gaelic speakers and learn from the best teachers out there. And I know personally, because 2005, I did a contest where it was a write-in prose contest, and I won a trip to the Ohio immersion weekend, and it was at a resort, and it was awesome. I learned so much there. Now, if you're looking for a complete Celtic Scottish experience, try the Grandfather Mountain Gaelic Song and Language Week. It is a week-long workshop full of Gaelic-related classes revolving around the 3 basic tracks of language, actually using the language, singing, everything from teaching songs to the history of songs to the details of ornamentation and technique. And then there's always some special interest stuff where the instructors take a subject of which they are particularly fond and teach about that subject. As there are different teachers every year, these vary widely from year to year. One year, a young man named Sorley MacDonald told us about shinty, common, or immin. And he brought his sticks and a ball and told us all about the game. It was really fascinating. In the evening, throughout the week, various activities are scheduled, including everything from a semi-informal ceilidh to a silent auction to Gaelic-related movies and film nights, and a lot more. And then on the weekend, of course, the full Scottish Highland Games and Festival, which is a must. So if you're interested in supporting an organization like A.C.G.A., this is a good one. And their motto is An Cúmal na Gaelic Bo, keeping Gaelic alive. I like that. And that's it for Everyday Celtic Ways. All right. Well, that's it for today's show. I hope you liked it. I'm trying to keep it interesting, informative, and fun. For me, anytime you can infuse something Celtic in your day, it's a good day. And I can't let you go without giving you the answer to the trivia question, which is limestone. And it doesn't taste good either. You have to lean over backwards while holding these rickety handles and kiss the bottom. 5 stories above the ground. So it takes some fearlessness to get the gift of gab, but it's worth it. All right. I want you guys to remember to check out learngaelic.net, my own YouTube channel, Olde Scot, and give A.C.G.A. America.org a check out. And, Martian Leventrust. Bye for now. I want to let you go with this song from Dougie MacLean's tribute CD, Neil Gown's Lament.